everyone, and hello. A very, very warm welcome on behalf of the Indo-American Arts Council to inviting you to watch today's program with us. At Indo-American Arts Council, we bring you art and artists from the Indian subcontinent. We support and also promote the awareness for Indian art and culture in the US. And in that tradition, today we are delighted to present to you next generation of Indian artists or artists of Indian origin, I should say. I'm delighted to introduce Shreya Mehta, TK Saraswati, and Raj Shahani. So Shreya, can we have her on screen? Hi, Shreya.
Hi,
Shreya
Urvan.
has lived and trained in India, Belgium, and now New York City. She has exhibited all through the globe and also along the way won many awards and recognitions. Her art is truly sublime. Her subjects are varied from social issues to spirituality to gender. And she will tonight take you through a short journey into her art. And I am absolutely certain that it will tug at your heartstrings and it will move you the way that it has moved me every time I'm in presence of her art. And thank you again, Shreya, for being here with us today. She's joined by TK Saraswati. Thanks, Saraswati, for being with us.
Hi.
Saraswati grew up in India and she now resides in New Jersey. She's a self-taught artist and has perfected her technique in a very unique way. She is best known for her hyper realist in art, and uniquely, she paints her subjects are Indian food, and you will get a taste of that in today's program as we go along. And when you do experience her art, you will actually be able to almost smell and taste her paintings. She has, of course, exhibited in and around the country, and also has been written about. Her work has been written about in various media outlets. Very recently, the U.S. Postal Service has recognized her art. They issued a limited edition stamp using her artwork, and if you find a stamp with idlis on it, I'm sure that's a keeper. And Finally, but not in the least, I am delighted to welcome Raj Shahani also to today's program. Raj is our very own IAC board member. He in his past life he was an entrepreneur, but I have to say that he was an artist all along. It's just that he has devoted more time and energy to it now than he used to before. He is a brilliant photographer and sculptor, and if you get a chance to see his bronzes live, I urge you to do so and catch his exhibit when it comes your way, close to a place where you are. The way he captures the movement of the human body, the detail and the nuances he captures are just brilliant. The bronzes are just alive when you see them. And so, without further ado, I would want you to watch with me an example of his work, and I'll introduce him through his work. So let's enjoy a video and post the video.
Everybody, this is Raj Shahani, and I'm going to try and take you through my process. As you can see, I'm having some ballet dancers do some extremely difficult poses for me. What I'm going for is shape and form, and I'm taking pictures from all sides. And then you can see that I have used those images to make my clay sculptures. This is work in progress, and it will be sent to the foundry to have it cast in bronze. This stage is when it is complete and it is ready to send to the foundry. This is the final bronze. I'm very happy with it. It could have done with a different patina, but overall I am pretty happy with how it has worked out. This is another pose that I really liked and was very difficult for the dancers, but I managed to get them to pose. I managed to take the pictures, and you can see me working on that shape and that form. This was very difficult for the dancers, but very interesting for me. This is the finished final bronze, and it turned out absolutely beautiful. I can see the motion, I can see the stretch, I can see the muscles. Fantastic. That's another one. This was very difficult for the dancer to balance on the man's hand, and but she did it. This is not a picture that was taken by me. This was taken by another photographer, and you can see that it is a very peaceful pose. Also, it's a very difficult pose, but it's a very graceful pose. It was something that really I enjoyed creating while I was making. It gave me tremendous pleasure, a lot of pleasure, and I loved it. I loved it right from the beginning. I was very excited when I was sculpting, and some things just are very difficult but seem really really peaceful. This was one of those pieces, and I tried a different patina on the bronze, and I was very happy. It doesn't look like a shiny metal, but this is metal and it is bronze, and it is was got by a friend of mine, and she loves it. This particular one, I tried to get their feet together when I was doing my sculpture. And at that time, while I was doing it, I was so involved and I was so close to it, I didn't realize that when I joined the feet, it made it a heart shape between the hands and the feet and the legs, which was interesting. I hope it didn't take away attention from the sculpture, and but the overall effect was fantastic. I can see the ballet motions, I can see the joy in the dancers, and the crafting was very very good. It was difficult making the mold, but the final result was fantastic. This was the first piece I ever sold to anybody, and I think that's my good luck charm. The buyers were my good luck charm, so thank you very much. I hope to, use all that luck in my favor. Thank you. When I start making sculptures, I really enjoy when I see a photograph. It gets into my soul, it gets into my body, it gets into every part of my being. And then sometimes I can even sculpt with my eyes closed. I cannot sculpt the eyes, nose, and ears, but the form, the shape, the grace, the elegance comes out very naturally and very beautifully. And I'm really blessed that I'm able to do all of this, because at the end of the day, this is what I wake up for. Look at this. This is such a beautiful photograph. And just, it was so difficult. I mean, I don't even know how I decided I'm going to take it on, but I did. And this was the first time I was doing fabric, and the folds of the fabric are not as easy. But, it's when you enjoy what you're doing, it just turns you on. It's the reason why you wake up, it's the reason why you live. And that's the back of the piece. Sorry, it's not a good photograph, but that is the back, and that is the front. This was purchased by a French lady, and it is right now in her garden. And I'm sure it's giving her as much joy as it gave me while I was creating this piece. It's a lot of fun. This photograph I took when I was up in the mountains in upstate New York at the Pillow Festival, and it's just magical. These ballet dancers can jump and create forms and shapes that are absolute sheer magic. The final piece I decided was not good enough to make into bronze. It had a lot of flaws and it was not up to my standard, and I never made a bronze out of it. This one was absolute magic. Look at the form, look at the shape, and this was in motion. This was just something beautiful, and it was a lot of joy creating this sculpture. And what's very important to me is the expression, is the feeling, it's the mood. And only when I get the emotion right that I stop making the sculpture. That is when I decide that this sculpture is finished, and it's time for casting, because there's no end. You can keep making it better and better and better. In this case also, the lines were there, the shapes were there, and the motion was there, the emotion was there, and it was sheer joy to every day go into my studio and try to create it. And I try to give different patinas to different pieces in the final stages, and that's part of the joy. I There's a lot of detail that goes missing when it goes to the foundry, but it's I thank the God that I am allowed and I do what I do. Look at this. I'm having such a great time doing this. And I mean, over here, I'm creating all ballet dancers because this was part of an exhibition that happened at Jahangir Art Gallery, and I had a thread going on through my entire collection. I do a lot of other things as well, but this collection was all ballet dancers, and it was extremely well received at the Jahangir Art Gallery. There were people who came to the gallery, and there was an old man who came and kissed my hand and said, he's glad to meet somebody who creates things like this. Now, I don't think I create anything which is better than things that have been created, but when it touches people, when my feelings and my insides connect with somebody who's looking at my sculpture, and makes them feel as happy, or makes them feel as though they connect with the shape, the form, and the mood and the emotion, then I feel like I'm doing the right thing. And in this case, I decided to make the sculpture the way the photograph is, not taken by me. But after I finished it, I decided that I wanted to give her hair. So here it is. And it changes everything. And I'm self-taught, so I still cannot get the likeness. But in many cases, I realize that I make them like they are in my head. I cannot get the likeness of the model who posed for me. In this case also, I decided that it's a beautiful, beautiful form, but the girl's hair while taking the picture was not perfect. So I took some liberties and I corrected her hair in my sculpture. And voila, I think I was happy with it. And the final sculpture really turned out how I would like it. It is. It's a joy. It's a fantasy, but it's also a joy. And to see the finished product is fantastic. After the show, I got commissions. This is one of a commission that was done by a client of mine, requested by a client of mine, and I really, really enjoyed making it. This is a life-size sculpture of Jesus, and it turned out really, really good. But the interesting thing is that after I posted it on my Instagram, I lost 2,000 followers because of this. But it still is one of my favorite pieces, and I absolutely, absolutely love it. Sometimes I cannot even believe I make some of the things that I make. I also got commissioned by the Hyatt Hotel in Dharamshala. This is a picture of Dharamshala, and it is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. When they asked for a sculpture to be made out of the hotel, outside the hotel, all I was thinking was, this is such a beautiful place. How can I make anything that's better, or that would fit this place? And I thought about not disturbing the space, and actually using the energy, using the aura, using everything, and creating something that gives it back, reflects it back. This is where Dalai Lama lives, and I wanted to keep that soul. I wanted to keep that energy and reflect it back. Lots of issues while I was installing it. I had to do a lot of things myself because the site wasn't ready, and it was a rainy day, and I attempted things that I usually don't do. I became a handyman. I did all kinds of things. But this had to be installed on the day it had to be installed. And the final result was so beautiful because this is up in the mountains. It has the skies, it has the trees, and the sculpture is just a reflection. It takes in everything and it reflects it back, it gives it back. It is so beautiful. I call it Jayanti, and it is spectacular, if I may say so. Thank you, Hyatt Regency. Thank you. The location is beautiful, and sometimes it the location decides what the sculpture needs to be. And this was very spiritual for me. They also used my images, and these are the images. When I say they, I say Hyatt Regency used my images in all their rooms and all over the hotel. I don't think of myself as a photographer, but they loved my photographs, and this kind of appeals to Dharamshala. What I need to say is I'm enjoying myself. I love what I do, and I hope that my joy translates through my images, and then they translate through my sculptures. And I really wish that joy to everybody. And I hope, I wake up every morning and love what I do, which I really, really do. And I'm
We'll meet the artists.
Thank you. But listen, I wish I could dance like those ballet dancers. But Shreya, your paintings dance. I believe they do. The gold that you use, the light that you use, and everything is so beautiful that you take us on a journey, and it is lyrical and it is beautiful. So, Shreya, tell us something, and also let's watch Shreya's virtual gallery. This is amazing, guys. This is very exciting.
Thank you, Raj. So, well, first of all, I know we're starting on my gallery, but Raj, you do bring joy. I loved to see that video. It brought such a smile to my face. And now, welcome to my virtual gallery. As you can see, this is a digital gallery. And during this pandemic, I think we all felt very claustrophobic, not able to go anywhere. So I wanted to create a space that we can virtually visit. This room is a collection. These are all hand-drawn images. What you see in front of you is a charcoal and graphite work on paper. And you can also see bits of gold in the window coming through the jali where the light is hitting the couch. So while I was creating these artworks, I was transported to different places without taking the plane ride. I feel like right now, I just feel like I can't believe it's been so many months out of plane ride. Due to the time, I'm just going to go through some of these images, and we're going to stop at this image. And I would like to pause the video for a second. And if I can ask Raj to come back on. And Raj, I'm going to ask you a question, because I feel like it's so important when you're doing a virtual gallery or any gallery walk. It's really about a conversation. It's not just looking at a work of art, but it's, I want to see, what do you see? What's the first thing that strikes you about this work?
First of all, you're transporting us to a different era, and there is so much simplicity in this work, but there's also an opulence. So it's a great mix of simplicity and opulence, which is there's a fine line, but you have been able to do it beautifully. It really takes me back there, and it's great.
So where is there? Where do you?
Well, it's obviously a palace, and it's an old palace, and it takes me back to, I think it is Rajasthan. I don't know what place this is. I've seen a lot of your paintings, but a lot of them have gold in it and have colors in it. This one I've not seen before, so I think it is taking you back to the palatial times. But it is so simple and so nice. So it's great that you've been able to make a black and white image, and we have our minds are filling it with color and taking us back. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So this image is not from India. It is from Portugal. It's actually, it has the, Middle Eastern influence, which was from Spain and from Morocco. They had all that influence. So this is the Pera Palace outside Lisbon. And the drawing is once again charcoal and graphite paper. And just as Raj mentioned, there are 22 carats. So there are a lot of gold. There's a lot of gold in all these works. And if you do look at the gallery later, you'll be able to zoom in and see this gold in different parts of the artwork. If we can continue on with the video. And while we're going to see another part of this video. And when you click on these, when you're in a virtual gallery, you can actually click on a work and see the description. Everything pops up. That's the wonderful nature of technology. And you have all the information at your fingertips. So, you know, that's one of the reasons I wanted to make a virtual gallery, just to connect with people. Even if I'm not there, they can go to the gallery, they can click on the work, they can hear my voice because they're going to miss me, right? So they can hear my voice in an audio note. This is another view of the same palace. This is the ceiling, you know, once you enter the palace. And for me, it's like a web. It's a web connecting the past and present. We are taking like a little bit of a travel throughout different places. As you can see, these are temples in India. They really inspire me a lot. I am a Jain, and when I go to these temples, the aura hits me. These images are from my grandfather's village in Gujarat. We are from the village of Palanpur. And he always used to tell me, you know, when I go to India, I never lived in India. Like most of you, I'm born and raised, you know, outside of India. But he would always tell me the stories of Bombay, you know, or in India. And, you know, when he saw the first car and the crowd. And I really feel blessed to have culture. You know, I really feel blessed to be part of our Indian heritage. So I wanted to show a little bit of a snapshot of that bygone era that my grandfather used to tell me. So I encourage all of you to check out these works on a later date, because you can look at them in detail, zoom in, and you can also see the stories. This next work, I'm actually going to call TK Saraswati and ask you a question. And if we can get the video paused at this point. Hi, TK.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome.
The pictures, Shreya.
Thank you. See, you
really
you on
take
the
us
spot.
to a different era. That's lovely.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes.
Okay.
Just close your eyes. And I'm going to ask her to close her eyes for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Now, while your eyes are closed, do you remember looking at this picture?
Yes, I could. There's a kind of a window or someone standing on the corner of the window through the lights that are coming through the faces in the window.
Beautiful. Thank you, Saraswati. You can open your
No,
the reason
that's a lovely picture that just got Xerox in my mind.
Saraswati.
That's a lovely
So
picture.
the reason I asked you to close your eyes is they say that people spend under 3 seconds looking at artworks when they go to museums. So I wanted to see if you saw my work in those 3 seconds.
Yes.
And for me, this artwork is one of my really special pieces. It is from Rajasthan, which I mentioned earlier. And I was, as a tourist, I was visiting all these beautiful palaces with my family. And in the original, I took a photo of this place, but in the original photo, I have my teenage son with a baseball cap posing right in front of the window, because all I was doing was taking pictures of my kids, because I feel like sometimes we lose those moments. And during the pandemic, while I was going through my photographs, I had that time inside, not able to go out. I saw this image and I realized that I wanted to capture it again. I took my son out. He wasn't too happy. But I really wanted to capture the light. So what you see is light and dark. You see hope, and then you see this woman. Even the window that you see has a very feminine characteristic. It's almost lace-like. It has a very intricate work.
I think it's a craft of getting the hope of light.
Yes. So we have the feminine content and we have the masculine, which is the column. So I'm trying to talk about duality. So light and dark, hope and despair, and masculine. in just a simple snapshot, which I actually missed when I was on this trip. So some of these works are really about having a presence. When we are somewhere, just to be there at that moment. And just like you said, Saraswati, that light, that hope,
It's
just try to capture that again.
That's fabulous.
Thank you, Saraswati. Can we play the video again? So, as I said, this is a charcoal work, and in this work, in the window, I have flakes of gold. A lot of people ask me, why do you use gold in your work? Well, gold is the only known pure substance found on Earth. And what better substance to use to translate divinity, to translate pureness, and to translate presence? This is another work. This is an entrance to a temple. I was recently in, and we are going to go straight to my last work in this room, which is Ganesha, Lord Ganesha. It's a symbol of positive energy. And I put him in. I just feel like, as a person of Indian culture, every time I see this image, I feel like I belong. And that radiates positivity in this room. So this entire room was very black and white. This virtual gallery has 3 rooms. We're going to step into the second room. I'm only going to be covering one work. You can see this room is a little more abstract. It seems like it's another artist, but it's me. I'm the one who made all these different works, just saying. If we can pause the work, can we pause the video for a second? And can I get Urvashi, ma'am, please? Can I get Urvashi ji? Putting you on the spot, Urvashi.
That's okay. He sounds too formal. Yeah, it's fine.
I love to be interactive. I don't think I don't want to make it a monologue. So this is a very abstract work. People sometimes relate to abstract work and they're like, what is this? Especially my own husband will say, abstract work is all nonsense. They can't be charging a bomb for it. I don't understand it. But I'm going to ask you, Urvashi, what do you see when you see this work?
I see activity. I see community. I see a lot of I see a calmness because of the color, but I also see a lot of activity behind that because it has a lot of elements to it. So that gives me a sense of a lot of activity, a lot of movement. But at the same time, it's calm.
Very interesting activity. Very interesting. So what this is it's actually a layering of writing. So people always ask me where I'm from. So I'm like, I'm a proud New Yorker, I love, being part of New York. But obviously, I'm Indian. You can see by the way I look. But more than that, I'm Belgian. I have lived in Antwerp for 24 years of my life, and Dutch is my mother tongue. So when the census comes, what am I supposed to click? Asian American, European, Indian? I don't know. I just feel like I'm all of it. What I did was I took the word identity in English, identiteit in Dutch, परिचय in Gujarati, and I stitched the words onto the canvas.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So it's very much a conceptual artwork, which is based on language and a layering of our culture.
It's beautiful.
So, the depth of abstract work, sometimes people think it's scribbles, but there is a little more thought to that. Can we please play the video, if it's possible? And another thing is I made this one in blue. There are other works, but blue is also the color for communication. So if you think about colors and their symbolic association, blue is associated with our throat chakra, which is the color for communication. That's why I chose this color for this work, because I'm screaming to the world, don't put me in a box. I am a layering of all my cultures. I am a stitching, I am a fabric, and we all are, right? Everyone in this chat, everyone who's part of the Indo-American Arts Council, we are all part of multiple cultures. And that's what I want to share with the world. Don't box us in, we are layering. Is the video playing? I'm not sure. It seems to be paused. Yeah, thank you. And in this room, we have many other works. We're just going to take a little stroll, as if you're walking in the gallery with me, holding my hand. I don't know if you noticed, but in the beginning of my gallery, I had a champagne bottle and glasses. This is a good time to take a drink. We are going to pause just at a second at the next one. This is my tapestry collection. I have a little more color. You don't need to pause. We can have the video playing, please. Thank you. This is not abstract and not fictive. This is in between. For example, this work you can see there is a face emerging from the doorway. And this work is made of thousands and thousands of little dots, pointillism. And this entire is really about finding who we are, finding our identity. And now we are going to go to my last room. This is going to be a very abstract room. So for those who are, abstract haters, I'm sorry. But abstract ideas need abstract expressions. So this is about the theory of karma. And I'm just going to bring back, when we're going to come to the next work, I'm just going to bring back Raj, because I feel like talking alone. I like to have company. Can we get Raj back? He's smiling. I love his joy. Hi, Raj.
Hey, listen, there are no abstract haters because your work is so powerful. How can you hate something like this?
Well, it's not about hating. I think it's about connecting. Some people connect with images and some people connect with concepts and ideas. So this entire room, Raj, is it's based off the theory of karma. And I don't know about you, but I'm very much of a type A personality. My entire day is 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, schedules, all what I have to do. Very planned, very organized. But I realized that at a point I want to let that go. And at this point, can we have the video paused, please? Pause the video. Thank you. So Raj, I wanted to share just a bit about this work to you. This entire room are artworks of me letting go. I created these during moments of meditation. And I want to ask you, and I want to ask the viewers, for example, I'll start with you, Raj. Do you meditate? Is there what is a moment for that you have flow as an artist? Can you share with us?
See, I have ADD, so I cannot meditate. I cannot sit still. I cannot, you're type A, I'm type Z. I cannot plan, I cannot meditate, I cannot sit. I have a million things running. But I can see what you're saying because it's lyrical and because of the colors that you use and some of the shapes bring peace, And like you said, in this one you've used blue, which is very calming, and it talks to me. It does. It brings some kind of peace. It is not crazy. It is not just splashes or anything. It's something about it is very calming. I have to say that.
Thank you so much, Raj. So if I can just share, this work was made, I spent 8 days in a silent retreat, basically at home. So I was in Maun, which means to be silent, and I was fasting. As a Jain, we do practice this. During those 8 days, all I did was work on these artworks. So this was my meditation, pouring the paint on the surface, meditating, writing, and just really going a little bit deeper within, like, who am I? Who am I if I don't have social media? Who am I if I'm not able to talk to my friends and attend events? And who am I, right? To find our different personas. I think we need to have these moments of silence. And these works, rightfully, as you said, the blue color, which is the color of calmness and communication. This is created with indigo dye. So all the works that you have seen throughout this virtual gallery are used with vegan, natural materials. So this is handmade indigo dye, blue, which is a different blue. I don't know how to explain this blue color, but even all the other artworks, they all are natural because not
it's
only am I...
Blue.
Sorry?
I'm saying it's a Shreya blue.
It's a Shreya blue. It's not a Shreya blue. It's a meditation silent blue. But I think when when we're creating work, right? You create works with bronze, and that's how you're able to express your joy. For me, I need to use these vegan natural materials to express my calmness, my introspection, and my meditation. This is how I will be able to share my journey with all of you. If we can play the video, we are going to be at the end of this, and I'm going to ask one last question. But if we can play the video, and these works are, everybody always asks me how big they are, how small they are. In a virtual gallery, it's very hard to assess the size and the feel of it. And in this work, if I'm going to click on it, I don't know if anybody can read. Raj, is there any way to read this, or is it too small?
I'm on my phone and it's 4 screens, so really it's very tiny.
Very tiny. All right,
Yeah.
no problem.
I can watch the work, but I cannot read it.
No problem. So this is actually a poem I wrote from these works. It is on silence, and it's what I felt after I make these works. Just like you feel joy. For me, I feel peace. I feel calmness, and I find clarity. And like you, I dabble in sculpture. So this is my glass sculpture. I have blown it out of a glass ball using stringers. I've created a sculpture, and this was also my meditation. So just using different parts of the glass to build this sculpture, I just dipped into my meditation. So I tried to cover this as fast as I could. I hope that was okay with all of you. But
I could watch it for longer.
Thank you, Raj. So thank you to all of you for joining me on my virtual gallery. After this tour, you are welcome you will get a link on the website to explore this on your own time. So thank you very much. I think I'll hand over to Saraswati at this point. Yeah.
So listen, Shreya, everybody, Shreya is incredible. Like I say, I get joy. It also gave me joy to see what she does, because peace is joy, and her layering and her meditation and everything has, touched all of us. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
But Saraswati does something completely different. I have a problem with food, and Saraswati makes that beautiful. So Saraswati is a hyper-realistic artist. How did your art journey start, Saraswati? Tell us.
Hi, Raj. Thanks for introducing me. First of all, hi to everybody. And I would like to thank Indo-American Art Council for giving us a wonderful opportunity to explain our art journey to all of you and get connected with you. I'm a self-taught artist, being from an educational background of computer engineering. This all happened like an accident, I should say, around 2008 with a couple of conversations with my husband when I went to visit some exhibition and the museum, that I could also do some drawings and everything. So it just started with all those scribblings. And I have tried all my hands in all kinds of genres, like from abstracts, the landscapes, all kinds of medium like acrylic, and finally I'm into my oil medium, and my current genre is a hyperrealism of Indian food.
Fantastic. Can we see some of her works? You guys would not believe how detailed and realistic the food and things that she creates. I don't want to give anything away. I want you to see what she creates. And if your mouth doesn't water along with your brains and everything, tell me about it. Can we play Saraswati's video?
Yeah. This is my dosa and sambar artwork. As you see, the sketching, it had almost thousands of circles and thousands of small tiny holes to fill up. And being a self-taught, it was really hard to find out the way to bring that, as Raj said, to you make you feel that you should really feel that you are having a dosa and sambar in front of you. But that all vanished when it got juried into the Salmagundi gallery in New York for their 41st annual juried exhibition. And it was really hard for me to finish the work so that it really gives that emotion of the really seeing the dosa and sambar in it. But it really went well when I could really feel when I represent it in my social media, or everyone could really feel that is it real and is this a real painting and everything. So this is one of the artwork. So can we go to the next artwork, please? This is a video about my naan. All as we know, there are every food has a different texture, has a different colors. As every this is like a food rheology, it has different flow, emotions. It's hard or soft and everything. This one was really another tough one because every inch of the artwork had some roasted portions, some fluffy portions. You have to not only with the color but even with the texture. And the other promising part was to pop up the garlic as the background, and the garlic had the same color. So it was really good. I mean, it when it got awarded the award of merit by American Women Artists Association and the recent exhibition, that all I feel I could really convey what I really wanted to do in my artwork. And even the coriander, everything popped up very well. The very promising part was, as I said, challenging. Sorry, the challenging part was to um, feel the food in a white background. I never put any color or any other colors or a different kind of crockery, because all the attention has to go to the viewer's attention has to go to the food. So I try to make it on a very plain background so that all the details are known and it's all around the food. So can you go to the next artwork? Yeah, this is the video of gulab jamun. I know it doesn't even take a minute to gulp up one gulab jamun, but it really had a tough time for making this 7 gulab jamuns. It took almost 3 months. I should have to fill up every circle of it, and then I think it had almost 10 to 11 layers of coloring on it. And the next part was is the sugary part, the where you can feel the liquid also in it. And then this is the pistachio that comes for the garnishing and everything. This was another challenging one because it has to or the overall look has to give a soft texture, but still you should have to see the liquid and the shine. Especially the shine of the gulab jamun has to come so that it gives you a feel that it was in a syrup. And especially the shadows, so that because the thickness of the plate was not that deep, so I should create the feeling of the depth of the plate and the shadows of the gulab jamun and the sugary syrup that it is dipped in and all the garnishings and everything. So this also was another challenging, but it gives an immense pleasure when you display it and really the viewer feels that they have to feel eat the gulab jamuns, then all your effort and everything vanishes away. So this is another one. So next artwork. This is my first artwork, and I was thinking when I choose the subject of Indian food, what should be my first food that I have to portray it. From childhood, my mother is a very good cook, and he makes awesome idlis. But you still have like to every day to see that idli, often on your plate. It creates an aversion, but it has a very special place in my conscious, I believe. So when I just thought it's like one of the tribute to my mom, where I cannot replace making her idlis as she makes. So this was my first artwork. I think it took almost 6 months to do this first artwork, because I did not have any references. I did not have any videos. I cannot ask anybody. I cannot refer to anybody. So it was like self-taught to myself to create this artwork, and when the texture of idli was totally different from the texture of the coconut chutney and the texture of the sambar. So it was really difficult, but it was really good that it came out really well. And this was displayed for the invite. This was featured on the invite for the cultural show of West Windsor Art Council. Then it gave an immense pleasure. Following that, it was selected by Manmuth Museum for their Delicious Food annual exhibition. So I was really happy that my first artwork, I could really convey my thoughts, what I had was in my mind, and it really went well. And I had published 22 stamps, US local stamps of my artwork. So it was really happy to see our Indian culinary food in the form of a stamp. So let's go to the next artwork. This is samosa and chutney, the tamarind chutney and the coconut chutney. The challenging part of this was like and in one piece of samosa I should show the softness, and then the crunchy part of it, and then the broken pieces of it, and especially the stuffing and everything. Even this one took almost 2.5 months. And the next one was, how much ever I make the chutney, I could still see the small parts that were floating, that it was not able to come. I think it took almost 3 weeks to just make that chutney. But it was really happy when it gave me the membership in the International Guild of Realism, and it got selected as the final painting as a finalist in their annual exhibition. So it gives an immense pleasure when you really can convey whatever we want to convey our thoughts on the canvas. And especially when it comes to hyperrealism, it really takes a lot of patience to do every intricate details, but at the end of the time, yeah, it really worth the time to convey the feeling of eating a samosa, I believe. So the next artwork.
Oh, Saraswati, I am in awe. How beautiful. I will never look at food the same way again. It is so good.
Thanks a lot, Raj.
And bravo for winning all these awards. Shreya, you won so many, and Saraswati. So I'm in very good company. Saraswati, why did you select hyperrealism as your genre?
Yeah, the first thing is, when I got introduced into painting, I was never satisfied at any point of time. So I really wanted to have an identity to myself. So then I started Googling. I should really thank Google and all this YouTube, whatever videos that I came across. Then I was really inclined to realism. And then I started doing a few artworks of realism. Still, I'd seen all ups and downs. It really got rejected by so many organizations and everything, because it still lacked the uniqueness of my subject. Then again I started, I think I spent a lot of time in researching with what will give me the uniqueness. Then I got introduced to T. Giles Parnassus' very beautiful hyper realistic burgers, French fries, and I just couldn't stop myself to Google and see how does our Indian food look like. Then, to my surprise, I till now I can't find anything that the form of Indian food represented in its realistic form. So I thought, why not let me try to do that? So that's how all it started. And
That is brilliant. And Shreya, you have lived all over the world. I mean, you've lived in India, you lived in Europe, you live in America, and you say your mother tongue is Dutch. And for those who don't know, although Shreya looks like she's 16 or 18 years old, she has got kids. I don't know how you do what you do. How did you get into living so many lives and still having time to create such beautiful works and such works with depth? Tell me, Shreya.
I think it's a thank you, Raj. I think that just creating art or using expression, it's just a passion, right? I think if you love something, you're going to take out time no matter what. And I'm sure we all agree, right? All of us are artists here because we love what we do. No matter what, the day it comes to me and I'm just like, great, I have 1 hour, I'm going to go paint. But I also see that it's different facets of my life, right? Being a mother, being a wife, working, having art exhibitions, all these different facets, they challenge us and they push us to create more. They push us to create something which is above the normal. And, that's just something I feel like when you ask me, how is it possible you can create when you have so many hats? I think that all these different hats just push you to create more. That's how it works.
So those are the layers that come into your work.
Exactly.
That is so, and you can see it in the simplicity of the work that you have. You can literally see how all those influences are coming together and creating what you do. That is fantastic.
Thank
you.
Yeah. Raj,
I'm sorry.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What I loved about your artworks were these beautiful bronze, and I saw the joy. I just was wondering, so what is it about the human body, right? For all our viewers, what is it about the human body that you find most beautiful? Because I feel like you're able to show this energy within it. And how is it? How do you do it? That's my question.
I really believe that the human body is magical and complex, okay? And it has got so much going on. You can never understand it. But it has emotion, it has motion. And when those two things come together, I always say, motion and emotion, the human body can bring that together, and a human body can give you a hug like nothing else can. Okay, it will touch you like nothing else can. And I understand the human body. All my life I'm very expressive. I love everybody, and because I take pictures, I work on my pictures, and then those pictures become me. I become those subjects that I've taken. And when I see ballet dancers and I see the forms they create and the shapes they create and the harmony, there's just no way that I do not, just like Saraswati says, Indian food is what, she connects with. These dancers and these peoples and their bodies, they're almost like a temple. A body is like a temple. And I just want to celebrate that. So that's what it is.
So when did your journey start, Raj? Being, as you said, you are also self-taught. When did that spark came in you that you have to start doing?
So now I have to tell you all that I'm the oldest person in this group. I'm 100 years old. So I decided I'm going to retire young, which I did. I retired, gave up everything that I was doing, and thought that I'm just going to live an easy life and why should I work so much? My son's grown up, and I'd never done anything odd. One day, walking down the street, I saw an ad for a workshop, which was already 2 days late. So I went and joined the workshop, and I could create something. I surprised myself, being ADD, being dyslexic. I always was a bad student, and somehow I did well in what other things I did. But my school and my parents never allowed me to, create anything or make art. And now that I was allowed to, I allowed myself. I'd also held myself back. When I allowed myself, it all came out. And that is, something that I cannot explain. And I thank God and I thank this universe that I'm allowed to do what I do. And I'm the happiest man on this planet.
That's nice.
I see it.
But now COVID is here, and how's everybody dealing with this? Tell me.
Saraswati, you want to go?
Yeah, I had got a wonderful time to create my artworks, give full attention to it because there is someone at home to even take care and everything. So I was able to dedicate a proper time for my artworks because every painting takes a lot of time to create. And I'm actually currently working for my current project called Bojan, which means full feast, for a solo show next year. So I'm just gearing up for everything, and I really feeling blessed to have a lot of time to create that. So over to Shreya.
Shreya.
I guess when COVID hit, to be truthful, I was a little depressed. I think it was a shock to my system that the world could be turned upside down. Not only is it New York, right? The entire world. And we're still, right? So many people are suffering. So it had a negative impact on me at the beginning. And it took me some time. And I think it is art. When I started to draw these, especially when I created this virtual gallery, it was when I started to create art, that's what allowed me to be able to see the world outside of the four corners of my house, right? We weren't able to step out. We all are in lockdown. And I think that if it weren't for art, I think I might have been even more depressed. So to be truthful, I think COVID has shown me that art is this window, this perspective to seeing the world in a different way. And I guess that's my new discovery because of COVID. And I know that anything happen anytime. I think we were living in oblivion that these things only happen in movies. And now that it's become a reality, I think I'm valuing my time much more. I started waking up at 5 in the morning. I have this new routine. Early morning, 5 to 9, that's my slot to paint, because otherwise I might not get that time. And I know we are really lucky and privileged to be healthy and, safe during these times.
I personally, for me, this has been a great time. I mean, as everybody else, initially I was depressed, like what is going on? My studio shut down. But I have been able to connect at a deeper level with all the people I have in my life. I have been able to do gardening. I have been able to introspect. I have been able to connect. So isolation actually made me connect more with people. All the social isolation was, it's godsend. I connected with myself. So this has been very, very special. So how, Saraswati, tell me about your relationship with your galleries, and Shreya, you tell me after Saraswati your relationship with your buyers in your gallery. You have a virtual gallery too, so tell me about that, both of you. Saraswati.
Yeah, okay. First of all, I will tell you what was the background of why to choose food. The reason behind it is like the one thing that we all have in common is food. It plays such a central role of every culture. What we cook is an expression of who we are and where we come from. So you all feel a close connection with food. It's it is related to you in everyday's life and everything. So this was my main goal, to have food as a subject, and especially Indian food, that just to retrieve back our culture into a form of art that is alive. And like I also feel happy to represent it for the first time, as far as my knowledge is concerned till now, to represent it for the first time in its super realistic form. So I'm all gearing up for the current project, Bojan. So hopefully it all goes well. Up to Shreya.
Shreya, tell us about your galleries and all your awards, and tell us about how did you come up with this beautiful virtual gallery? You're an inspiration.
Well, so to start with, I did go to the Royal Academy of Art. So I have been formally trained. I was as based in Belgium. I think education is very valued, and the Royal Academy. I was one of actually I was the first Asian American to graduate with a MFA from the Royal Academy there. So when I did, I won an award from the king at that time. We had I created a public installation in a monastery where I created a glass sculpture, and that was my first award. I moved to this country, and I had to restart again, which is a little harder, you know. And over here, currently, I'm represented by a Swiss gallery. I'm in different art fairs. I think it's so important to share your work with different audiences and see how not only, say, Indians or not only any certain cultural groups, but how everybody connects with our work. So I have been very lucky that I think we're in New York, and New York is such a fantastic center for art. You know, you have so many venues, so many art fairs. So I guess I'm really lucky with that. And the virtual gallery came because of COVID, right? I was depressed, and I was like, all my art fairs, I had shows, group shows, I had art fairs, everything for 2020 was canceled. And I was like, I'm not having it. I'm going to do a show. And then I did my own, I did my virtual gallery, because I'm like, I'm going to get COVID. I want people to see my work. So that was how I started my virtual gallery. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And what about you, Raj?
Yeah.
I had a scheduled solo show in the museum in Baku in Azerbaijan, which didn't happen.
Wow.
So I'm really bummed about it. But initially, when I started creating all of this, I, for some reason, had a tough time showing my work to people. I always created it for me. But Tarana Khubchandani, who owns Art and Soul Gallery in India, she's really, really good at what she does. And she convinced me to have my exhibition. I thought it was a very vulgar idea to show my insides to everybody. But she convinced me, and she had a fabulous show for me and showed me that it is okay to show yourself in that manner. And I enjoyed myself. If not for COVID, I had a scheduled show in Rome and one in London. But as soon as this gets over, all those will come back. I'm sure that and more will come back, because there's abundance in this world. There's more than we want. So we are blessed. We are we live in great times. And look at what you guys create, Shreya and Saraswati. I am so happy to have spoken with you. Urvashi, come back and tell us what these guys are doing with their works and how they're giving back to society.
Hello again, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the program today. As amazing as these artists were and their artworks have been, even more amazing is their generosity. They have each donated some of their artworks to raise funds for Indo-American Arts Council. And for Shreya Mehta, she's been generous and opened up all her portfolio to us, which you can access through iaac.us. The link is right down below. And please purchase one or more than one of her artworks. The profits are going to go to Indo-American Arts Council so that we can continue bringing to you art and artists from the Indian subcontinent and champion the cause and bring you programming such as the one today. PKS also has generously donated her artwork, again available at iaac.us. The link is down below. I would urge you to please visit our website, purchase some of these artworks, or become members. As members, you will also get notified about our upcoming programming, which is a dance festival in September. and a literary festival later in the year. We would also bring you small programs in a shorter format, such as the one we presented today, in the coming weeks and months. I want to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, our donors, and also the participants in today's program. Without them, none of this would be possible. A special shout out to Team Janak. Without his team producing this show, we would not have been able to connect with you on this platform today. Again, thank you so much for watching and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye and namaste.